The Windy City. We got the Blackhawks today. They have the first and 19th overall pick in this year's NHL draft. Now, as we all know, we don't even need to go over the first overall pick. I'll still provide a few electric Connor Bedard highlights for you guys to watch while you're listening. But with the 19th overall pick and a very high second round pick, I genuinely believe that they're going to show this kid that, hey, we are committed to you and we are going to build around you. Which is why I genuinely believe that they are going to get two high-leveled wingers in these two picks. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the second round pick that I think they're going to get, but with Bedard being small, as well as a lot of the top wingers in this draft being smaller as well, with almost first grabs at the second round picks, I think they need to get Charlie Stramel. 6'3", 216-pound winger from Wisconsin. He can play center too, but I think as a wing on this line, he will be a perfect player. A tenacious big man with speed with great offensive and defensive IQ. He'll round them out as the main forechecker on that line, doing the majority of the dirty work for the two skill players. I think that is the best way to go. If he's still available, I think that's the guy they're going to get. But moving on, 19th overall pick, there are a few options they can take here. Now, one thing we know about Connor Bedard is that he has a lethal shot, but he's also a fantastic playmaker who plays with a high level of pace and creativity, with quick, shifty edges constantly changing the angle of passing as well as shooting lanes. He's going to need a player who can keep up with all of that. He needs a player who can keep up with his speed and IQ and adjust accordingly and produce offensively both as a playmaker and a scorer. Now, those options are very few, to be honest, in this draft, but with the 19th overall pick, there are still a lot of options I think that could be available on the board. I can't be sure exactly which are going to be available, but I'll give you all the options. First up, I think is the best option for him. Andrew Cristall, standing at 5'10", 165 pounds, playing for Kelowna in the WHL. Fun fact, him and Bedard actually grew up together, playing on teams together and were very close on and off the ice. And if you watch the way they play, it's quite similar. Cristall is a creative winger who has shifty edges, has a lethal shot from anywhere on the ice even as a small guy, and has elite playmaking potential from anywhere and a very deceiving passing ability. This year, he had 39 goals, 56 assists, good enough for 95 points in 54 games. His biggest issue in every scouting report is his willingness to keep his pace throughout an entire game. He tends to take shifts off in the WHL, but I think if they put him with his childhood friend, who is an elite player and will elevate his game to the next level, and he will be willing to elevate his own game to the next level, with a guy like Charlie Stramel to do the dirty work for them, these guys can develop at a rapid pace together. That would be the line for the future. They would all be coming in about 18, 19 years old, and they would develop together and be franchise line potential. I talked about Cristall in depth in my Buffalo Sabres video, so go check that one out if you want to hear more about him. Next is Gabriel Perreault, standing at 5'11", 165 pounds, playing for the U.S. National Development Team. Talked about him in another recent video. He is a fantastic playmaker and led the U.S. National Development Team in points this year. He was one of the most unsung heroes on that entire team, and honestly, I don't know why, because he was probably one of their best players. 53 goals, 79 assists for 132 points in 63 games. Come on now. And switch him with Cristall. Charlie Stramel played on the same team as him for the U.S. National Development Team. So even though Bedard and Perreault don't already have chemistry, Stramel and Perreault will have chemistry. And with Bedard being able to play with anyone, that line will sync up perfectly. Colby Barlow might also be a very good player for this situation, but more than likely he will not be available. Cristall as well as Perreault might not be available either, but if they do, they're perfect selections. But let's look at two players that are more than likely going to be available. Eduard Šalé, in my opinion, is a very interesting player. The 6'1", 168-pound winger from Czechia, playing for the Kometo Brno, did not have a lot of points this year. Only 14, 7-7 in 43 games. International play, he did a lot better, scoring 19 in 18 games. But the thing I find fascinating about him is his ability to be molded into whatever any franchise wants. He is honestly not great at any specific thing except for his high IQ and execution on quick plays. When the puck touches him, more than likely he's going to make the right decision and an effective decision and execute properly. This is perfect for Bedard because he can develop him however he wants, and the Blackhawks will know that. If Bedard says, hey, I need you to go grind and get me the puck in the corners, as he gains more muscle and better skating ability, he can do that for him. If he says, hey, Šalé, I need you to set me up for a lot of passes, that's going to be your role. He has the IQ and the passing ability to be able to do that for him. If he says, hey, Šalé, I need you to take this shot, he can do that at a high level as well. Šalé's potential is what makes him such a fantastic player in this draft. With this kid's work ethic, his frame, and his current IQ, as he develops more muscle and more speed and skating control, as well as ability to hold the puck longer than he does now, he's going to be a perfect moldable star for whatever team picks him up. Very quickly here, we'll go to Riley Heidt. Go check him out in my New York Rangers video. He is a very interesting player. Getting over 60 assists as a shoot-first player. I go into depth about his mechanics as well as his play style in my New York Rangers video. Go check that one out if you want to hear more about him. And with 3 other second-round picks and 2 third-round picks, they should just take the best offensive players available because their defense is set for the future and get a fresh new core who can all develop together. Because with only one player, Seth Jones, being signed for more than 2 years on their whole roster, and Connor Murphy at 3 years, they are looking to wipe the slate clean and get a whole new lineup. That's all I got. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and comment the next team you want to see.